Romantic English Academy.
Where love meets language.
Okay, so we are finally doing this. Welcome, everyone, to the very first episode of Romantic English Academy. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Amelia, and we are a little nervous, actually. It feels strange talking to a microphone instead of just to each other.
Right? But it's also kind of exciting. We've had these conversations for years, about love, about communication, about the things we've learned. And we thought, why not share them?
Exactly, and maybe help some people learn a little English along the way. So for our first real debate, I have a topic. It's a little personal.
Oh, I'm ready. Hit me.
Okay, so you know how we always say honesty is the best policy in a relationship? I've been thinking, is that always true? Can you actually be too honest?
Whoa, that's a good one. Right out of the gate.
I know, but think about it, like the classic example. Your partner asks, does this dress make me look tired, or do you like my new haircut? And you hesitate.
The hesitation is the problem. That's where you get into trouble. My instinct, my very survival instinct, says you can absolutely be too honest. There's a filter for a reason. It's not about lying, it's about kindness.
But isn't a filter just a polite form of lying? If I ask you how my presentation went and you thought I was a bit nervous but the content was good, do you tell me I was a nervous wreck, or do you focus on the good?
I focus on the good. Honey, the content was so strong, you really knew your stuff. Maybe just a little deep breath next time to settle the nerves. See? Honest, but constructive. It's not, you were a nervous wreck.
Constructive. I like that word. But what about something deeper? What about feelings that might hurt the other person? Feelings that are real, but maybe they're just a fleeting thought? Do you share every single fleeting thought?
Every single one? No, that's chaos. That's not a relationship, that's a thought diary. There's a difference between honesty and verbal diarrhea.
Verbal diarrhea. Okay, that's a very romantic phrase, Ryan. But seriously, where's the line? Because I feel like if you don't share the little things, they can build up. And then one day, boom, you explode over something stupid.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. The bottle it up method is a disaster. I've done that. It's terrible. You start resenting them for things they don't even know they're doing.
Right. So maybe it's not about if you're honest, but how and when. The delivery, the timing.
Okay, I can get on board with that. The how is everything. You can say, you left your socks on the floor again. You're so messy. Or you can say, hey, love, I know you were tired, but can you try to remember to put your socks in the hamper? It would really help me out.
See, that's it. That's the difference. One is an attack, the other is a request. One is a judgment, the other is expressing a need. In English, that's the difference between you always and I feel sentences.
I feel statements. Classic. So underrated. I feel overwhelmed when the house is messy, not you are a slob.
Exactly. And that brings me to my main point. Real vulnerability, the kind that brings you closer, requires a very specific type of honesty. The honesty about yourself, not just about them.
Ooh, say more. I think I know what you mean, but say more.
Okay, so it's easy to be honest about their flaws. You're late. You forgot to call. That's just pointing fingers. But the scary honesty, the romantic honesty, is saying, I felt unimportant when you were late because I was really looking forward to seeing you. That's putting yourself out there. That's vulnerable.
Wow. Yeah, because they could reject that. They could say, you're being too sensitive. That hurts more than them just saying, yeah, I was late.
Much more. So being too honest about their mistakes is easy, but being honest about your own feelings, your own fears, that's the brave stuff. That's the stuff that builds intimacy.
So your argument is the goal isn't to be less honest. The goal is to be more honest about the right things, more honest about yourself.
Yes, that's it perfectly. You can never be too honest about your own heart, but you can definitely be too honest about your opinion on someone's new haircut 2 seconds after they step out of the salon.
Okay, I walked into that one. So you're saying when you came home with that interesting haircut last year, I should have just said I loved it?
No, you did the right thing. You said, "Wow, you look so different." It's very bold. How do you feel about it? You didn't lie and you didn't attack. You just asked me. You made me talk about it.
Because I could see on your face you weren't sure about it. You were looking in the mirror with this terrified look.
I was. I hated it. And if you had said, "Oh my God, it's beautiful," I would have known you were lying. But by asking me how I felt, you let me be honest first. You gave me space.
So that's the technique? Ask questions instead of giving your opinion?
It's one technique, a great one, especially in the beginning. It shows you care more about their experience than your judgment of them.
So let's try to build a little phrase book here for our listeners, for those tricky moments. So scenario 1, they ask for your opinion on something they clearly just did and are proud of, but you don't love it.
Okay, first, notice their emotion. If they're proud, you don't crush them. You find something specific to praise. The color is so you, or I love how happy you look in that. Then maybe later, gently, you can ask a question. How comfortable is it?
How comfortable is it? I like that. It's not negative, it's curious. Scenario 2, they did something that genuinely upset you, like they forgot an important date, an anniversary. Uh-oh.
Oh, the big one. Okay, this is where I feel is your best friend. And you do it when you're calm, not when you're furious. You wait. Then you say, "Hey, can we talk about something? I felt really hurt when our anniversary passed and we didn't acknowledge it. It made me feel like our relationship wasn't a priority for you."
Ooh, that's direct. That's honest. But it's not, you forgot our anniversary. You're so thoughtless.
Right. The first one invites a conversation. The second one starts a fight. The first one is about your pain. The second is about their failure.
So the magic formula is state the fact calmly, then state your feeling. When X happened, I felt Y.
That's it. That's the golden ticket. It's simple, but it's so hard to do when you're emotional. It takes practice.
It does. It really does. And you have to be ready for their response. What if they get defensive anyway?
They might. That's normal. If they get defensive, you don't escalate. You just repeat your feeling. You say, "I understand you didn't mean to hurt me. I'm just telling you how it felt." You hold your ground, but with softness.
Hold your ground, but with softness. I'm writing that down. That's a good motto. So let's recap for our listeners. We're trying to learn some essential English for love, right? The core idea, radical honesty about yourself is the goal. Brutal honesty about your partner is a trap.
A trap. I love that. It's a trap. It feels good for a second to let out that judgment, but it creates distance. It builds a wall. Sharing your own vulnerability, that builds a bridge.
A bridge. Okay. So what are some other key phrases? We have I feel, we have I feel, we have asking questions like how do you feel about it? What about apologizing? That's a huge one. Being honest when you're wrong.
Oh, huge. A real, honest apology it's gold. Not, "I'm sorry you feel that way." That's not an apology. That's a dismissal.
Right. A real apology is, I was wrong. I'm sorry for what I did. It won't happen again. Or, I'm sorry for my part in this. I shouldn't have said that.
And maybe even add, "That must have made you show you understand the impact. That must have made you feel so alone when I did that."
That's deep. That's really taking responsibility. It's not just saying sorry, it's showing you understand the pain you caused. That's the kind of honesty that heals things.
Exactly. And it's terrifying because you're admitting you're not perfect. You're admitting you caused someone you love pain. That's huge vulnerability.
It is. So we've talked about giving opinions, expressing hurt, and apologizing. What about the positive stuff? Is there a way to be too honest with compliments?
That's a nice question. I don't think you can be too honest with a genuine, specific compliment. You look nice is fine, but when you smile like that, my whole day gets better is honest and powerful. It's specific to them.
See, I struggle with those. I think them, but saying them out loud feels cheesy sometimes.
I know, it feels vulnerable. You're putting your heart out there. You're saying, you have this effect on me. And they might just say, oh, thanks. And that's okay. The point isn't their reaction. The point is you shared it.
So it's like an emotional exercise. Being honest about the good stuff is just as important as being honest about the hard stuff.
More important, maybe. It's the fuel. The hard conversations are the maintenance. The honest compliments, the I love yous, the I was just thinking about yous. That's the fuel that keeps the engine running.
That's a beautiful metaphor. So let's imagine a couple. They've been together for a while. Things are good, but a little routine, a little boring. How could they use honesty to bring back some spark?
Ooh, I love this question. I think by being honest about desires, wants, fantasies even, not just physical ones, but like, I've always wanted to learn to dance, and I'd be so less scared if you did it with me. That's honest. That's vulnerable. That's an invitation.
An invitation. I like that. Instead of just saying, we never do anything fun, which is a complaint, you turn it into an invitation. I would love it if we could try something new together. What do you think?
Yes, you're getting it. You're stating your need in a positive way. You're not blaming them for the boredom. You're inviting them to solve it with you.
Okay, I have a controversial question. Is it ever okay to keep a secret? A big one, like a past relationship thing that might hurt them, but is completely over.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? My instinct says if it's truly in the past and telling them would only cause pain with no benefit, maybe it's okay to keep it to yourself. But, and this is a big but, if it's something that affects them or your relationship now, then you have to tell them.
So the test is, does this information have the power to hurt them if they find out from someone else? Or does it change who they think you are in a way that matters today?
Exactly. If it's a secret and if revealed would make them feel like they didn't know you, that's a problem. That's a betrayal waiting to happen. But if it's just a story from your past that's irrelevant to your life now, maybe you can let it rest.
It's a fine line, a very fine line, and it requires you to be really honest with yourself about why you're keeping the secret. Are you protecting them, or are you protecting yourself from a difficult conversation?
Bingo. That's the real question. If you're protecting yourself, you probably need to tell them. That's the work. That's the scary part of love.
So much of this comes back to intention, doesn't it? Why are you saying this? To connect or to control? To share yourself or to change them?
Wow, that's a perfect summary. Is your honesty an offering of your true self, or is it a weapon to get what you want? The answer to that question changes everything.
An offering, not a weapon. I love that. So for our listeners, the next time you're in a tough spot with your partner and you're about to say something, just pause for 1 second. Ask yourself, is this an offering or is this a weapon?
That 1 second could save you hours of fighting. It really could.
Okay, so let's do some practice. I'll be the difficult partner. Give me a line and I'll respond the wrong way, and then you show us the right way.
Okay, game on. Let's say I'm your partner and I've been working late all week. I come home and I say, I'm so tired. I feel like I'm doing everything myself.
Oh, so I do nothing? I just sit around all day? Thanks for noticing my contribution.
Perfect. That's the wrong way. Defensive, attacking. Now try the right way.
Honey, I'm so sorry you feel that way. That sounds really overwhelming. Tell me more about what's going on. I'm here to listen.
Ah, see the difference? One shuts down the conversation. The other opens it up. The first one is a wall. The second one is a door.
A door. I like that. Okay, my turn. Let's say I'm the partner and I come to you and I say, I feel like we don't have fun anymore. We're just roommates who pay bills.
Wrong way. Oh, great. So I'm boring now? I'm just a roommate? Maybe if you planned something once in a while.
Oh, ouch. That hurts. Okay, right way?
Right way. Gently. I hear you, and that makes me sad too. I miss having fun with you. What's something you've been wanting to do? Let's put it on the calendar. This weekend?
See? That feels like a team, like we're on the same side versus being opponents. That's the goal, right? To always remember you're on the same team.
That's it. That's the whole secret. Love is a team sport, and honest communication is how you play well together.
So, our conclusion for our very first episode? I think we've decided you can't be too honest about your own heart, but you have to be smart and kind and intentional about how you share that honesty.
Agreed. Be radically honest with yourself first, then share that self with your partner, gently, and be curious about them, not judgmental.
Beautiful. And on that note, we should probably wrap up our first episode. Wow, that went by fast.
I know, it was fun. A little scary, but fun.
So, to everyone listening, thank you so much for being here with us. If you enjoyed this, if it made you think, or if you want to practice some of these phrases,
Please share this episode with someone you love or someone you're learning to love. And let us know, what do you think? Is there such a thing as being too honest? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.
yeah, drop a comment. Tell us your stories. And if you want more conversations like this, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We've got a lot more to talk about.
We really do. Okay, from Ryan and me, thanks for listening. Take care of each other.
And be brave enough to be honest. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Let the language of connection bloom and fill your world with a softer hue. Romantic English Academy. Your elegant journey starts with you. Find your voice in every phrase. Unlock a world of brighter days. Romantic English Academy. Start your new story today.